what it means to be an American. America is freedom, and freedom is special and rare.
We, the people of this great nation.
The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
We, the people of this great nation.
We the people. We the people. What a good way to start conversation about election night. We the people. It's apparent to me that we the people, at least some of the people, I would say a large majority of the people in this country, are extremely stupid. Now, I can't fathom why people would vote against their best interests. I can't understand how the polls were so wrong. I can't understand how the Republicans did not foresee this plot that the Democrats have created, this chaotic plot that they've created. I cannot understand how Americans can vote for a man that's literally suffering from dementia. Now, let me break it down to you. I streamed for 14 hours straight. If you guys don't know what that is, I was basically live throughout from 10:30 a.m. almost to about midnight election day. Now, I stream on a very liberal platform because I like to irritate people from the left, and I like to educate myself as well from the left and try to get a grasp and an understanding of why they think the way they think. And I like to engage, and I like to understand other people's political views. I like to evolve. I like to be able to argue back and forth, debate, and at the end of the day, everybody's entitled to their political views. This is a democracy. Now, what's happening right now with this election is not a democracy. That I can tell you. Now, it wasn't a surprise to me at the beginning when I was watching the election. It was never a surprise to me when I was seeing the numbers very high for Joe Biden and then Donald Trump coming in and taking it. Reason I felt that is because I knew that they were counting the mail-in ballots, and then they were going to tabulate the ballots of people that actually went in person and voted. Now, it's so incredible to me how intelligent this whole entire plot of the Democrats was. They used COVID-19 to go ahead and send out 70-something or more than that, 70 million ballots in the U.S. Now, let's correct this because people like to argue this with me. An absentee ballot is not the same thing as a solicited ballot, right? Unsolicited ballot or whatever they call it. One, you request it and they send you back your ballot. That's an absentee ballot. The other one, they send it to you just for being a registered voter. Now, let me explain to you why this makes a difference. What is the biggest problem the Democratic Party has every election cycle? Is getting people to go out and vote. So what did the Democrats do? They made it extremely easy. We had record turnouts, okay, across the board. Donald Trump right now is the third under Joe Biden, as much as you can believe, under Obama, and Joe Biden is now leading as the most voted presidential candidate in history. Joe Biden, guys, let that sink in, okay? Donald Trump literally brought out his entire base. They waited in line, they voted, and throughout the election, I found these discrepancies, these weird situations. I was watching rallies all weekend. Donald Trump went to 5 rallies Saturday, 5 rallies Sunday. The man is an animal. I will give him that. I mean, the guy, he put his heart and soul into this. He fought for this. He showed he did not hide in a bunker. He did not I mean, he went out there and he worked, and the love for him was there. Americans were piling up in the thousands to see him beyond the eyes. They were covering airports that you couldn't see the runway on airports. Incredibly enough, though, Biden manages, for example, to win Michigan. Michigan, a state that Donald Trump has visited on numerous occasions, and the crowds are bigger than life. All the margins, all the pollsters were completely wrong about Biden winning by a landslide, which is pretty much tampering with elections because they're basically being biased. And this is the second time they do this. 2016 was a friendly reminder. And it almost feels like they do this to unmotivate the other party's supporters, but it didn't work. Now this is where my big problem is. And I'm a very big fan of Fox News because there's very few networks that are at least that lean towards the right that I like to watch. I'm a very big fan of Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, Laura Ingraham, Shannon Bream, Brett Baer. I was extremely shocked to see them call states like, I don't know, Arizona for Biden, but they wouldn't call states like Alaska. They waited forever to call specific states that we knew were going to go red, but they took forever. But they were quick to go and announce that Biden won Arizona. Now, me personally, I know he didn't win Arizona. I heard what the governor said, and I heard what the attorney general said, who's a Democrat. She specifically said, no one count Arizona as a victory. There's still 500,000 votes pending, all that happen to be in Maricopa County, which happens to be Trump territory. Now, let me explain to you how the map is looking right now. Georgia, you're hearing this correctly, is a toss-up. They're neck and neck. Right now, Donald Trump is winning by a 0.7%. 0.7%. Then we go and we have Nevada that's looking promising. Possibility that Trump can turn it red. It's been done before. George Bush turned it red. Ronald Reagan's turned it red. He loses Wisconsin by less than a 1% margin. He's already requesting recounts. Pennsylvania's should be going to Trump, but of course they've been doing everything in their power to stop the pollsters from being able to see them cast ballots. This has turned into a giant shit show. There is no way Joe Biden won this election. Now, I'll tell you, strategically, the Democrats did a magnificent job. But when you start seeing the Republicans winning Senate seats back, which is what they were not predicting, Lindsey Graham won by a landslide against his opponent, who had $100 million to spend. He lost by a landslide. Leads me to believe that there's obviously something going on. Because usually the president leads the ticket and then everything follows. They predicted we were going to lose members in the House. We've gained members in the House. So all this is all, and I'm not one of those people, I promise you, I'm not one of those people that believe in conspiracy theories. But I know when my gut is telling me something doesn't feel right, something doesn't feel right. I don't think he lost Michigan. I think Trump needs to get recounts. I think Trump needs to take this shit to the Supreme Court. I think they are trying to literally cheat the elections, cheat the American people. I think that a lot of ballots there were probably counted for Biden when they were really for Trump. I think there's a lot of things going on behind closed doors that we do not know about. And I wonder to myself how they can call a lot of these states. I mean, for example, Virginia. Virginia was leaning red all the way through. They called Virginia very early on, very early on. But they didn't call Alaska, which we know was going to be red. They did not call Alaska. Now, I'm starting to think that some of these media networks that think they're allies, that we think are allies to us, such as Fox News, that we all engage and watch and think they really support us. I'm starting to think all these people really don't give a fuck about us, and they want Donald Trump out of office as much as the Democrats do. I mean, we saw Chris Wallace basically debate Donald Trump with Joe Biden. And there's things here that just don't feel right. Something about this doesn't feel right. Now, you go to a state like Florida, my state, Trump won it by a much larger margin than actually by a margin very close to what his internal polls were saying. And yet, it was smooth. Absentee ballots counted. Mail-in ballots counted. Trump took it. But all these other states were seeing all sorts of chaos. All sorts of chaotic things occurring. And this worries me. This indeed worries me. And it worries me for many reasons. One, because Biden is going to literally destroy this fucking country. I'm sorry to sound like I'm sorry to use foul language, but I have been going through a roller coaster for the last 2 days because of these elections. They have not named a freaking presidential. They have not given us the results of the presidency. And to top it off, they're rigging the fucking election, and they're doing it right in front of our faces. They're telling Americans, listen, your voice doesn't matter. Your vote doesn't matter. We found the system to win, and we're going to use it. Now, we know Democrats don't go out to vote. We know Joe Biden had no momentum whatsoever. Hillary Clinton had much more momentum than Joe Biden did. And Joe Biden's going to break records in votes. He's at 70 million, which kind of falls down the line with the amount of mail-in ballots they sent out. It's ridiculous. The Democrats changed the playing field to their advantage to win an election. This is how pathetic this has become. We are losing our democracy as we speak. We're losing our democracy. That's exactly what's happening. We're losing our democracy. These people are dictating who's going to become president. The people's voice doesn't matter. The people's votes don't matter. They love regulations. Oh my God, do the Democrats love regulations? But when it comes to elections, no, let's make it as smooth as possible, as easy as possible, because their turnout sucks. Their turnout always sucks. And it's just a damn shame that this country's gone to this point. I have 2 kids. I have 2 lovely kids and a beautiful wife. And I'm worried about the future of my country. Now, that being said, I still think Trump is going to pull off a victory. And I may be wrong. I was wrong on my first electoral. I swear to you, I thought Donald Trump was going to flip Minnesota, take Wisconsin, take Michigan, Pennsylvania without a problem. I didn't even see him having an issue with Arizona, nor Georgia, nor any of these states. Now, this is what I foresee happening. I foresee him struggling, but taking Georgia. And then I see him taking North Carolina. I see him taking Pennsylvania. And then I think Arizona is going to end up going back to the red because I think they fucked up and they made a call a little too early. And I think he might actually turn Nevada red. And that's it. That's a wrap. He wins the election. Right now, you know how horrible it feels to look right now and see that Joe Biden is literally 6 electoral votes away from being the president of the United States, which is really Kamala Harris, who's going to be the president of the United States. And for those of you who are so proud to support Joe Biden, I hope you remember my words today. If he is president, you will live to regret the day you voted for Joe Biden. You will remember my words. You will regret voting for this man. This will be the beginning of a sad and tragic time for America. And I'm not over exaggerating. I'm not being dramatic. I'm not being anything. I'm being factual. I'm being factual. For you guys to go out there and vote based on hate instead of what's in the best interest of your family and your country, to me, that is the most ridiculous thing to do. The most ridiculous thing to do. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back.
Do you feel homeless in today's American political world? Not really into either candidate or party? Well, guess what? You're not alone. Join me and others just like you across this great country for a discussion of politics from a viewpoint that you can't find in today's media. The Middle. I'm your host, Brian Grozier, and I invite you to join in on the discussion by downloading and listening to the Middle American Podcast.
All you see from the left is violence, rioting, looting. Well, they're doing it right now as we speak. They went out there again in Philadelphia and it's not Republicans. It's not Republicans. It's Democrats. It's the left wing. It's the lefties. They're out there right now again. And suddenly, at the snap of the fingers, our good old Joe Biden is going to bring peace, prosperity, unity, love, all these things. He's going to magically make them come. He's going to magically change everything, and the United States is going to turn into a utopia. Wow, that's what all these Biden supporters believe.
Come on, man.
Are you fucking kidding me? Do you honestly think that's what's going to happen? BLM started during Obama and Biden's administration. It's going to get worse because they're going to see a weakness in Biden. You want me to tell you how important Donald Trump is to our country? That when the numbers were showing Trump in the lead and en route to the presidency, China's currency dropped 1/3 of what it was worth. Meaning China saw that the tariffs were going to keep coming and they were going to pay a price for what they did to the United States. Guess what? Now Biden's leading. What do you think's happening? The money, it went right back up. You know why? Because Joe Biden is bought and paid for by the Chinese government. If you guys haven't noticed, his son's been making a lot of money with them and breaking his dad off now that his dad's no longer in office. Holding his money till he gets out of the vice presidency. I mean, I don't know how much. You know, a part of me even wants Joe Biden to come out as president just so people can regret this shit. Just like I regret the day that I voted for George Bush. Just how I regret voting for Mitt Romney. I've never regretted voting for Senator McCain. But boy, oh boy, a part of me wants Joe Biden. It's not going to change anything in my life. It's really not. I mean, thankfully, I live in a very conservative city. And thankfully, we're holding on to the Senate, which is going to play a major part in the next 4 years if Joe Biden comes out in office. Because, are we going to need these senators. But this is just a perfect example of how hate leads people to do stupid things. People react on emotion and make the wrong decisions. I promise you, America, those of you who voted for Joe Biden, he comes out as president, your life's going to change. And not for the better, but for the worse. When you see gas prices at $6 or $5 or $4, don't complain. Pay the $4 because you brought this shit upon yourself. When you see us going into another war because we're no longer energy independent and we count on other countries for oil, don't complain about wars and politicians. You brought this upon yourself. When you see the unity between the Middle East starting to break and you see terrorist groups coming out of the woodworks, don't complain. You brought this upon yourself. So my message is quite simple. A Trump presidency was great for everyone in this country, across the board, whether you liked him or not, whether his personality fit, whether you liked his personality or not, whether he was presidential or not, he was changing this country for the best. We will never in our history see a president like this again. We will never live to see another person like Donald Trump. Never. He brought pride to Americans. He brought something that America was craving for so many years. He brought back that pride that Americans feel for being American. He made us proud of being American. He fought for Americans. He fought for everyone across the board. The numbers say it all. Everybody benefited from a President Trump candidacy, and from President Trump. Everyone across the board benefited, from Black Americans to Hispanics to Asians to white people, Caucasians, or whatever you want to call them. Everyone across the board benefited. And we're going to throw all that away for a man that served 47 years of government and did nothing for anyone but put more black people behind bars and made horrible foreign policy deals that only benefited his family. It's insane to me that this is happening. It's insane that we're at this position. I have a strong feeling this election is going to end up in the Supreme Court. So the unrest is not going to stop. And it's just sad to see this country go to the shitter. We still have an avenue. I still see a light at the end of the tunnel. It was closing a little bit when I saw Joe Biden take Michigan, which I highly doubt he really took Michigan. But I don't see. I just. Oh man, a Biden presidency is gonna be bad. It's gonna be real bad. I'm planning on having some people on the show soon. It's going to be interesting because a lot of these people, they have a different knowledge. They have a different view and perspective. And we're going to have a little debate here and see what they think and all that. And how this ended up being the way it was and how this election ended up where it's at today. And there's a lot of people that, and the only plus side to all this is we have Amy Coney Barrett in the Supreme Court. I think the whole situation in Pennsylvania could have been prevented. I don't think they should have allowed votes until Friday. People had plenty of time to bring in their votes. If people can go and walk in person and vote in person, you have a month to send in your ballot. You had plenty of time to send in your ballot before Election Day. But they needed something to be able to bombard the polls, to be able to raise numbers whenever they need them in certain areas. All of it is going to come out. And I'm not trying to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but I'm sorry, Joe Biden did not have 70 million people supporting him from his basement. A man that barely came out, a man that barely spoke, and when he spoke, he made more than 5 errors in one sentence. He's practically losing his mind. And if I'm wrong and people did really vote, that many people really did vote, then we got 70 million dumbasses in the United States right now that have no idea what they're voting for, and they're simply voting on hate. Well, one of the polls was showing that the majority of people weren't even voting for Joe Biden. They were voting against Donald Trump, which is fucking sad. Voting against your own interests. Voting against a country that's prosperous, that's growing, that's been better than it's ever been. Yes, we got hit with a pandemic. Donald Trump would have had this in the bag if it wasn't for the pandemic. But people love to blame Donald Trump for it. They never bring up China. The Democrats, you never hear the Democrats bring up China. Donald Trump killed 215,000 people. It's his fault. Forget about the fact that Andrew Cuomo sent people into nursing homes that were sick or were recovering from COVID-19. Forget that. That 35,000 people that died under Andrew Cuomo's watch, that doesn't matter. He gets praised. But Donald Trump is blamed for everything. He can he can find the cure to cancer, and he's still they're still gonna say no, that's not enough. But it's okay. Republicans have learned to deal with it. We've learned to deal with it. I mean, it's just something that. But now Donald Trump's gonna fight back. Republicans are gonna fight back because he's gonna fight for all those faces and all those people that he met that voted for him and showed up to that voting poll to vote for him, waited those long ass lines. He's gonna fight for them. I wouldn't expect anything less from him. I would expect him to fight this all the way till the end. Fight until there's no more fight left. Because there is something real odd about these elections. There's something really strange. I feel it in my gut. If it would have been normal, but there's states there that just don't feel right. And the numbers that Joe Biden is getting is just overwhelming, ridiculous numbers that just don't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense why would they would call a state having 500,000 votes pending from an area that's extremely red, and the governor saying that the governor and the attorney general of Arizona both saying no one should be considering Arizona a victory. But yet Fox News went ahead and said it anyways. And apparently Joe Biden's going with it, and the other networks are too. So my final words for you guys is it's going to be crazy. There's going to be a lot of things going on. Just stay positive. God's going to take care of us. I know I hate to bring this. I honestly feel that Trump was put into office by the American people, but I think he was brought to us by something bigger than us. Because this man has really put America first. He really does love this country. And it would be a damn shame to lose such a great president. It would be a damn shame to have him being replaced by a senile older man that was never really good at politics and a socialist, Kamala Harris. So, and for those Cubans out there, my people, way to go. You guys did awesome in Miami. My predictions were almost right. We almost flipped Miami, but we weren't enough, but we were enough to tip the scale and scare the Democrats a little bit and show them that they can't take Hispanic votes for granted. We see it. The rest of the country doesn't see it. We see the movement behind Biden and Kamala Harris. It's unfortunate that others can't. But I promise you something. Under a Biden-Harris presidency, or should I say a Harris-Biden presidency, you will see people within 2 years into the presidency, because they're still gonna be riding the Trump wave for a little while, and then slowly but surely their decisions are gonna start reflecting, and then you're gonna start seeing a lot of different changes occurring, markets crashing, people losing their jobs. You're going to start seeing a lot of different things that under Donald Trump's administration would not have been happening. And then you're going to start seeing people regretting voting for them. But at that point, it'll be too late. And all I'm going to do is tell all my friends on Facebook that voted for Biden, tell all these people that wanted Biden so badly, I'm just going to tell them, you know what? You got what you asked for. There you have it. Don't complain. That's your president. Donald Trump, remember when you used to say Donald Trump was never your president? That's not my president. I'm going to say, no, Biden is my president. He's your president too. Good job. You voted him in, not me. He's my president because I live in the United States and I'm an American and I consider him my president, but I didn't vote for him. My vote shows Republican ticket. My vote shows Donald J. Trump. So guys, just keep the faith. Let's hope that we get a Trump win. There's still a road. I still see different obstacles. I still see different avenues we can go. We need to carry Georgia. It's crucial we carry Georgia. If we do not carry Georgia, we're in trouble. And it's getting slimmer and slimmer. Apparently, more ballots are being found out of the woodworks. They're coming out of places that out of the woodworks, and every single ballot apparently is for Joe Biden. There's no ballots for Donald Trump. All the ballots are it's a miracle. 138,000 ballots were found in Michigan. All of them were for Joe Biden. Wow, the probabilities and the chances of that happening. This is crazy. So anyways, guys, I'll leave you with that. God bless you. God bless your family, and God bless this beautiful country that we may soon lose. Thank you.
We will make America great again.